Jose Pepe ran after him, grabbed his neck and said, "The next time you hit the black guy I will kill you myself, because he is the one who puts food in our mouths."
Now big up Lion King Records. You know, it's a Sunday ritual, and we are endorsing, you know. You know, it's a Sunday evening thing. East Park, freestyle. Yeah. Lion King production. Oh, wow.
Alberto Spencer, the unknown start when it comes about football. You can't never say that you know everything, even though you are a real fan of this sport. These facts are true, especially when we talk about the romantic football from 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s or even 70s. You surely heard of Di Stefano, Pelé or Cubillas, but that's because these South Americans played at World Cups or in European competitions. But on that continent were many other players during the decades, about whom few heard. And this is the case of Alberto Spencer, the name that doesn't say much, but that means a lot for football. The Ecuador-born striker whose story has been reduced over the years is the top goal scorer of the Copa Libertadores, with 54 goals, and at one time was said to have been one of 4 players to have scored more than 1,000 goals. Born in Ecuador to a Jamaican father, Spencer was known as a fearsome header of the ball and also the first black player to gain GOAT status in football. The legendary story runs that Magic had in one of the exhibition tours that Panaro did in Colombia. One of the Millonarios players, Flaco Nastarossi, launched a horror tackle on Spencer that went unpunished. Soon afterward, one of Spencer's friends in Panaro, Jose Pepe, ran after him, grabbed his neck and said, "The next time you hit the black guy I will kill you, because he is the one who puts food in our mouths." He was born on 6th of December 1937 in Ancos, Guayas, Ecuador, and was quickly spotted by the local team of Everest Guayaquil, at which he played from 15 years. After 6 years here, he was loaned to Barcelona Guayaquil, for which he scored over 300 goals in 6 years to play a friendly against the great Panaro Montevideo. The Uruguayans saw his big talent and signed him urgently. He did score 101 goals in 90 matches for Everest. Here is the controversy: in 6 years how many games per year do clubs play? And during this time he also played whether mornings or evenings for a second club across the border from his home. That information is disappearing, or has disappeared from Wikipedia, but nothing can compare with the numbers that he achieved while he was under the colors of Panaro. 510 games, 326 goals, 13 big team trophies and 6 important individual trophies. After his second Intercontinental Cup, he was twice sought by Inter, but ultimately Panaro's board would not sell him. Do you think that's all? Well, not, because he is recognized as one of the best headers from the history, thing admitted by Pelé himself. "Someone that headed better than me was Spencer. I was good in heading, but he was spectacular heading the ball. In general, he would do it with a burst, but without actually sprinting." Also, Spencer is the only striker who had ever played simultaneously for 2 national teams, Ecuador and Uruguay. He switched shirts in 4 cases, but didn't manage to gather too many selections for neither of the national squad's 11 with 4 goals for Ecuador and 6 with 2 goals for the Albi Select squad. Despite these poor numbers, Spencer is considered the greatest footballer from the history of Ecuador, even though this country played at the World Cup 2 times, in 2002 and 2006. He missed to qualify with Ecuador for the World Cups in 1962 and 1966, but could have played eventually at the final tournament in 1970, for his adoptive country, Uruguay, that made it through to Mexico. Spencer refused to appear at that competition, because choosing to wear Uruguay's shirt at this level meant that he would lose his Ecuadorian citizenship. He decided to remain confident to his native country, because, as he said himself, "Uruguay has a lot of brilliant players, but Ecuador needs me most, because they don't have with whom to replace me." In 1971 he chose to change the team and transferred to Barcelona, not at the top team from Europe, but at the homologous squad from his native Guayaquil. There, he played 1 season, in 34 games, scored 18 goals and managed to win the league title. Still, few heard of him, because he didn't have the chance of appearing at the World Cup or to play for a powerful side from Europe. Even so, you must know a few extra things about this lad, who might turn a laugh on your face. When he debuted for Penarol, he scored a hat-trick in a 6-2 win friendly game against the Argentinian side of Atlanta. But also this match remains in history mostly because Penarol played for the first and single time in red equipment, a color that is popular because it represents Nacional, their greatest rivals from Montevideo. Post Alberto Spencer 1960-1966 name, Alberto Spencer the rare nickname, Cabeza Magica Image Country, ECU, Ecuador Club, CA Penarol position, *CX side, RF/BS age, 23 to 29 years June 12, 1937 height, 180 cm weight, 78 kg attack, 95 defense, 25 balance, 85 stamina, 79 top speed, 87 acceleration, 93 response, 92 agility, 85 dribble accuracy, 83 dribble speed, 88 short pass accuracy, 70 for short pass speed, 70 long pass accuracy, 68 long pass speed, 71 shot accuracy, 92 shot power, 83 shot technique, 86 free kick accuracy, 69 curling, 70 to hitter, 96 jump, 93 technique, 85 aggression, 95 mentality, 81 goalkeeper skills, 50 team work, 72 injury tolerance, the condition, 7 weak foot accuracy, 7 weak foot frequency, 7 consistency, 6 growth type, standard cards, S03, 1-on-1 finish S05, 1 touch play P13, goal poacher special abilities, positioning, scoring, 1-to-1 scoring, 1 touch pass attack / defense awareness card, attack minded 8. Most curious fact is that, when Spencer was sent off for the first and single time in his career, in a National League game, he refused to play in the next match for Penarol, in the Copa Libertadores, because he claimed to be very ashamed of his act. Unfortunately, he died when he was only 68 years old, on 3rd of November 2006, in Cleveland, where he was treated, after he suffered a heart attack 2 months earlier. Now, you can see all the distinctions that Spencer won during his career and which made him, for sure, one of the best footballers that was ever given by South America, with Penarol, Copa Libertadores, 1960, 1961, 1966, Primera Division, 1960, 1961, 1962, 1964, 1965, 1967, 1968, Intercontinental Cup, 1961, 1966, Copa Libertadores top scorer, 1960, 1962, Primera Division top scorer, 1961, 1962, 1967, 1968. Now let's get into the story from Wikipedia. Alberto Spencer personal information. Full name Alberto Pedro Spencer. Herrera. Date of birth December 6, 1937. Place of birth Acon, Santa Elena, Ecuador. Date of death November 3, 2006. Age 68. Place of death Cleveland, Ohio, United States. Position S forward. Senior career * years. Team gaps GLs 1953 to 1959. Eras 70 101 1960 to 1970. Penarol 166 153 1971 to 1972. Barcelona 2013. Total 256 267. National team 1959 to 1972. Ecuador 11 for 1964 to 1967. Uruguay 5-1 *. Senior club appearances and goals counted for the domestic league only in this Spanish name. The first or paternal surname is Spencer and the second or maternal family name is Herrera. Alberto Pedro Spencer Herrera. December 6, 1937, November 3, 2006 was an Ecuadorian Uruguayan footballer who played as a forward, and is widely regarded as one of the best Ecuadorian footballers of all time. Citation needed. He is probably best known for his still-standing record for scoring the most goals in the Copa Libertadores, the most important club tournament in South America. He was elected the 28th best South American footballer of the 20th century in a poll by the IFFH in 2004. He was known as Cabeza Magica, Spanish for Magic Head. Biography. Born in Ancon, Guayas, Ecuador, Spencer was the son of a Jamaican of British origin. He was an ambidextrous striker with lethal pace, off-the-ball movement, heading and balance skills, and excellent finishing that tore defenses to shreds for over a decade. After his retirement in 1973, He lived in Montevideo, Uruguay. In 1982, he was appointed consul of Ecuador in Uruguay. Spencer suffered a heart attack on September 13, 2006 during a routine checkup with his cardiologist. He died on November 3, 2006 in a Cleveland clinic in Cleveland, Ohio, United States. His lineage survives through his Chilean wife Maria Teresa, his children Alberto, Walter, Jacqueline, and his grandchildren. 3 Career. Alberto Spencer began his career at age 15 playing for Everest. He jumped to fame when he was scouted while playing on loan for Barcelona FC against Penarol in July 1959. Penarol's manager, Hugo Baguilo, asked his scout Jaime Ortega to attempt to sign him after the game was over. He was soon transferred to Penarol where he amassed 3 Libertadores Cups and 2 Intercontinental Cups, as well as several Uruguayan League titles. After his second Intercontinental Cup, he was twice sought by Inter, but ultimately Penarol's board would not sell him. 4 On the international front, Spencer holds the unique distinction of being the only goal scorer, capped by 2 different countries simultaneously, Ecuador and Uruguay. He switched shirts no less than 4 times. He played for Uruguay against England 2-1 in a friendly match at the legendary Wembley Stadium and scored, making him the first Ecuadorian-born player to score in that stadium. His name was omitted from FIFA's and Pele's list of 100 greatest living players. This caused outrage among many South American journalists who believed greats like Spencer were being ignored in favor of commercialism. David Meller of the Evening Standard notably blasted FIFA in his reporting of the incident. Although widely considered one of the best South American players of all time, he still remains largely an unknown figure in Europe. This is presumably because he never participated in a World Cup or played in Europe. Similar fates awaited other greats such as Alfredo Di Stefano who, while called up for the 1962 tournament, did not play due to injury, and George Best, though both are far more known due to their domestic careers with Real Madrid and Manchester United respectively. He was elected the 28th South America Player of the Century in a poll by the IFFH in 2004. Achievements. Spencer still maintains a South American club record in Copa Libertadores, with his tally of 54 goals between 1960 and 1972, playing for Everest of Guayaquil, Barcelona of Guayaquil, and Penarol Uruguay. During that period, he walked away as winner of the competition 3 times: 1960, 1961, and 1966, all of them playing for Penarol, and was winner of the Intercontinental Cup twice, beating UC Bios Benfica and Real Madrid, and was runner-up once. In fact, his Intercontinental goal tally is only 1 goal behind the all-time record of his more famous contemporary, Pelé. He was given every opportunity to break his record. Spencer was also 4 times the leading scorer of Uruguay's league with Penarol, helping him to win the Uruguayan Championship 8 times. During his 12-year stay throughout his professional career, he scored a grand total of 450 professional goals, surpassing 1,000 if friendlies were taken into account. Honors Club Penarol Primera Division, date 1959, 1960, 1961, 1962, 1964, 1965, 1967, 1968 Copa Libertadores, 3 1960, 1961, 1966 Intercontinental Cup, 2 1961, 1966 Supercopa de Campeones Intercontinentales, 1 1969 Barcelona Serie A, 1 1971 Individual Copa Libertadores top scorer, 2 1960, 1962 Primera Division top scorer, for 1961, 1962, 1967, 1968. RSSSF, Ecuador, Player of the Century. IFFH's 28th Best South American Player in the Century. References Wikimedia Commons has media related to Alberto Spencer. IFFH's Century Elections archived March 3, 2009, at the Wayback Machine, rssf.com, by Carol Stalker, Mand, RSSSF, 2000. Rob Smith, March 24, 2010. The worst English champions ever, sort of. The Guardian. Archived from the original on April 30, 2010. Retweet May 26, 2010. Alberto Spencer fue sepultado en Uruguay. ESPNdeportes.com in Spanish. November 7, 2006. Retweet August 24, 2021. Better than Pelé. Estadio. November 15, 2006. Archived from the original on July 4, 2007. Retweet November 11, 2006. External links: Alberto Spencer, El Caballero, El Diplomático, El Bolívar in Spanish International Herald Tribune Obituary Alberto Pedro Spencer's matches and goals in Copa Libertadores honor video for Alberto Spencer on YouTube. Alberto Spencer tribute video on YouTube. Ecuador squad, 1959 South American Championship. Ecuador 4th place Copa Libertadores. Top scorers Uruguayan Primera Division. Top scorers Copa America Historical Dream Team categories, 1937 births 2006 deaths. People from Santa Elena Province. Ecuadorian people of Jamaican descent. Ecuadorian people of British descent. Association football forwards. Ecuadorian footballers. Uruguayan football. Resi.E.Elist footballers. Fanal players. Barcelona FC footballers. Uruguayan Primera Division players. Uruguay international footballers. Ecuador international footballers. Expatriate footballers in Uruguay. Dual internationalists football. Uruguayan people of Ecuadorian descent. Uruguayan people of British descent. Uruguayan people of Caribbean descent. Clashes with Pelé. When the Copa Libertadores began in 1960, Santos and Penarol were the preeminent forces in local football, a fact reflected by their domination of the competition in its early years. The Mania were to win the Copa in the first 2 years of its existence in 1960 and 61, before the next couple of championships finished in the dominion of the legendary Pi-Xi team of the era. These would prove to be the last times, however, that the Villa Belmiro Meisters would lift the trophy. Pelé, Coutinho and company sacrificed their competitiveness in South America to tour the world as football's hardened globetrotters, and the rise of Argentina as a powerhouse in the late 1960s ensured that until the 1990s, only 2 trophies were lifted by Brazilian side. In that time the teams would meet only once in the final, in Santa Triumph of 1962. It took no fewer than 3 games to separate the combatants. The 2-1 victory for Santos in Montevideo was overturned 3-2 by the Carboneros in Villa Belmiro, before Pelé's men ran rampant in a playoff held in River Plate's Estadio Monumental. It was a golden age for South American and especially Brazilian football, as the Santa Nation lifted both the World Cup and Libertadores titles, and in this epoch, Santos held a strong claim to be the best team on earth. 6 world champions appeared in the Pi-Xi side, as well as the Golden Strike duo Pelé and Coutinho. Gilmar, Mauro, Zito and Pepe all were stars. The Santáfricos were acclaimed across the world for their talent and scored 29 goals in the tournament, an outstanding accomplishment across the 9 games which constituted that year's competition. Pelé's Santos was the greatest ever, followed by the Botafogo of Garrincha, Didi and Milton Santos. Brazil legend Osvaldo replied without hesitation when asked who he considered the best team ever to walk onto a football field. German legend Franz Beckenbauer also saluted the side as one of the best of all time, albeit with the qualification of their generation. Just focusing on the more celebrated team in white, however, is a disservice to Penarol, who deserve to be acclaimed for the pioneering role they played in developing the modern game. One star in particular criminally overlooked by the sports historians is the great Alberto Spencer, the top scorer ever in the Libertadores with 60 goals in 92 games. Ironically, his famous adversary from 1962 must bear some of the blame. Pelé omitted Spencer from his list of the greatest 100 players to much criticism, with even British journalist David Miller blasting Doria for the oversight. Born in Ecuador to a Jamaican father, Spencer was known as a fearsome header of the ball and also one of the first black players to gain cult status in football. The legendary story runs that Magic had in one of the exhibition tours that Penarol did in Colombia. One of the Millonarios players, a team which included Alfredo Di Stefano at the time, Flaco Nastrofi, launched a horror tackle on Spencer that went unpunished. Soon afterward, one of Spencer's friends in Penarol, Jose Pepe Sagia, ran after him, grabbed his neck and said, "The next time you hit the black guy I will kill you myself, because he is the one who puts food in our mouths." Pelé, interview with Pablo Erland said, Spencer was red-carded twice in his career at a league match defending Penarol. 3 days later the team had to travel for a Copa Libertadores match, but Spencer didn't go, saying that he was too ashamed because of his expulsion. The other one was on a crucial qualifying match for 1966 World Cup against Chile, because he hit Humberto Cruz on his face, in 1965, in the final match in Lima. For his debut at Penarol was in a friendly against Argentine team Atlanta. Penarol won 6-2 with a Spencer hat-trick. Upon Spencer's death, the Federación Ecuatoriana de Fútbol decided to change the name of the Estadio Modelo Inglés to Estadio Modelo Alberto Spencer Guerrera in his honor. Spencer was the leading light of a team that boasted quality across the pitch. José El Pepe Saja was the Ecuadorian's forward partner in crime and an early Uruguayan legend, a man of principle who was forced to live his later years outside the nation after being shot and injured by security forces of the violent dictatorship of the 1970s. Former Barcelona winger Luis Pubillan and future Sao Paulo star Thibaut Rocha were also stand-out names from this era, but the Cardoneros were destined to fall short against their illustrious opponents. Penarol fell to a 2-1 defeat in Uruguay, the double from Coutinho taking the honors for the away team. When all looked lost, though, an outstanding 3-goal haul from Spencer and Saja secured the 3-2 win in the Vila Belmiro, setting up the final decider in the Monumental, which was taken by the scruff of the neck by Pelé. The legend struck twice in the second half after Omar Caetano's own goal had opened the scoring for Santos, leaving the traveling fans to celebrate the maiden Libertadores triumph for the first time of asking. No one would have thought at that point, however, that after repeating their success the year after it would take until 2004 to reach the final again, but that 48 years later the PFC are fighting for just a third title in their history. Penarol, meanwhile, have gone on to win the title 3 more times since 1962, putting them behind only Independiente and Sao Paulo in the list of champions, but 1987 was the last time they did the lap of honor with the famous trophy in hand. Most goals over the legs or more. The most goals scored over the legs is 15, which occurred when Penarol defeated Everest 14-1 on aggregate in 1963. The scorelines in each match were 5-0 and 9-1. In instances where the third leg was needed, the record number of goals scored is 17, which occurred when Penarol defeated Santos 9-8 on aggregate in 1965. The scorelines in each match were 5-4, 3-2, and 2-1. The tournament's first hat-trick was scored by Alberto Spencer of Penarol, when he netted 4 goals against Jorge Wilstermann on April 19, 1960, in the first ever match in the history of the tournament. Top Scorer Award. The Top Scorer Award is for the player who amasses the most goals in the tournament. Fernando Morena has received the most awards with 3, in 1974, 1975 and 1982, all with Penarol. 4 other players have won the award multiple times. Alberto Spencer with Penarol in 1960 and 1962, Oswaldo Ramirez with Universitario in 1972 and 1975, Nestor Scalde Deportivo de Cali in 1977 and 1978, Salvador Cabanas with America in 2007 and 2008. Daniel Onyeka scored the most goals in a single tournament, with 17 for River Plate in 1966. Players from Penarol have received the award the most times, with 7. Alberto Spencer in 1960 and 1962, Raul Castanovo in 1971, Fernando Morena in 1974, 1975 and 1982, Carlos Aguilera in 1989. Brazil is a nationality that has received the most awards, with 30 Brazilian players finishing as top scorer.